Where's Jeff?
Where did Jeff go?
I lost him.
I go ahead and stop.
He went to grab his book. He'll be right back.
Okay.
They're very good crowd.
All right, I'll call the January 6th, 2020 meeting to order with roll call.
Can you hear that?
Caitlin Hartman. John Hawkins.
Here.
Matt McKinney.
Here.
Brian Miller.
Here.
Logan Welch.
Here.
For those of you in the hallway, we do have speakers out there. Hopefully you'll be able to hear everything that's being said inside council chambers throughout the meeting. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
And we'll do roll call vote. Hartman. Hawkins.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes.
Miller.
Here.
Welch.
Yes.
And pledge of allegiance. At this time, we'll have elections and appointments of officers. We need a motion on the election of mayor by the city council for a 2-year term.
A motion to elect John Hawkins for mayor.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Hawkins,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Hartman.
Yes.
Now I need a motion on election of mayor pro tem by the city council for a 2-year term.
I'd motion to elect Brian Miller as mayor pro tem.
Second.
Okay, McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
No.
Hartman,
Yes.
Hawkins.
Yes.
I will now qualify the mayor and mayor pro tem by administering the oath. I, John Hawkins,
I, John Hawkins,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Iowa,
of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially,
and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties of the office of mayor
discharge the duties of the office of mayor
in Webster City, Iowa,
in Webster City, Iowa,
as now or hereafter
as now and hereafter
required by law.
required by law.
I, Brian Miller,
I, Brian Miller,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Iowa,
of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially,
and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties of the office of mayor pro tem
discharge the duties of the office of mayor pro tem
in Webster City, Iowa,
in Webster City, Iowa,
as now or hereafter
as now or hereafter
required by law.
required by law. Pretty quiet.
Logan, are you able to hear everything just fine?
Yep, I'm hearing everything, but am I coming across okay? Like, it's not echoing or nothing?
Guys here, okay?
Everybody can hear Logan okay, folks? Yep. All right, yes, sir.
All right, okay. Can the community hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, great, thank you.
Yep.
So we'll proceed with the meeting. Next section is appointments. I ask if you want to take first of the year appointments collectively or separately. Currently, the list is, anyway, we got appointments, one, the city manager, appointment of the city manager by the city council for a 2-year term. It's Jeffrey D. Sheridan. Appointment of a representative and alternative representative to the North Iowa Municipal Electrical Cooperative Association is Adam Dickinson, representative, and Ken Webster, alternative. Item 3 is appointment to Right to Know coordinator is Brian Stroner. 4 is an appointment of a representative to the Hamilton County Communications Service Advisory Board, E911, is the city manager or designee. Item 5 is an appointment of the representative and alternative representative to the Hamilton County Emergency Management Agency, is John Hawkins, representative, and Charles Stansfield, alternate. 6 is an appointment to the Hamilton County Rescue Enhancement Committee, is John Hawkins. 7 is an appointment of a representative and alternate representative to the Midas Transportation Advisory Committee, is Matt Alcazar as representative, and Jeffrey D. Sheridan as alternate. Appointment of the representative to serve on the board of the Webster City Daycare is Brian Miller. An appointment of the representative to serve on the board of Riverview Early Childhood Centre is Logan Walsh. How would you like to?
I move to approve 1 through 9 collectively.
Second.
Do roll call vote. Miller? Roll call vote.
Yes.
Welch?
Yes,
Hartman?
Yes.
Hawkins?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Item 10 is appointment of official newspaper letter, call for motion, well, we obviously,
So moved.
I'll second.
all those in favour, no, we're gonna roll call.
Yeah, let's roll call.
Okay. We're roll calling everything tonight, so, because it's easier for Logan that way if we do roll call, so.
All right,
Takes a little longer, but it'll get through.
so Welch?
yes,
Hartman?
Yes.
Hawkins?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Asked if you want to take the first of the year resolutions collectively or separately. 11 is a resolution authorising the city finance director to invest city funds. 12 is a resolution authorising city clerk to issue warrants and payments of certain types of expenditures. 13 is a resolution authorising city clerk to issue and deliver warrants for payroll upon receiving approval by the city manager. 14 is a resolution of purpose providing the expenditures of economic development funds. And 15 is resolution setting dates and time for regular meetings of the City Council for 2020. How would you like to? 11 through 15.
I'll move to approve 11 through 15 collectively.
Second.
Roll call. Hartman?
Yes.
Hawkins?
Yes.
McKinney? Miller?
Yes.
Welch?
yes,
Item B, petitions, communications and requests. This is the time of the meeting that citizen may address the council on a matter not on the agenda, no more than 5 minutes per person. Except in case of emergency, the city council will not take any action at this meeting, but may ask city staff to research the matter or have the matter placed on the agenda for a future meeting. Anyone have anything other than the main event? I would like to note that those of you who are here for the public hearing, we are given the opportunity to speak at the time of the agenda. So we have minutes. Item C is minutes and claims. The following items have been deemed non-controversial routine actions to be approved by the council in a single motion. If a council member or a member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from its list, it will be considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. I have item 1 as minutes of December 16 and December 31st of 2019. A resolution on payroll for the period ending December 21st of 2019 and paid under December 27th of 2019. And 3 is a resolution on bills and the fund list. Would you like to do 1, 2, 3 collectively?
Yeah, I'll motion to approve collectively.
Second.
Hawkins,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
Yeah.
Hartman.
Okay. Item 1 on the agenda is presentation by Williams and Company, PC, on the 2018-2019 City Webster City audit. Good evening.
Thank you. I'll make this short. If there's any questions, I'll do my best to answer them right now. Otherwise, the finance director has my contact information, Bodie does, and I can answer them once I get back in the office and have more details. So, quickly here, on page 2 of the audited financial statements is our opinion. At the top there, we say, in our opinion, the financial statements are fairly stated. We have an unmodified opinion is what we call that, and that's what you want. Next, I'm going to move to page 12. This is a statement of net position. This is a very high level. This shows your governmental activities, your business type activities, all together basically. Again, very high level. It's probably hard to make decisions based off of this specific financial statement, but this is the statement of net position. Next, I want to move to page 15. This is where we're getting into the balance sheet for the governmental funds at the fund level. All right, if you see the general fund there, one thing that we look at is the unassigned fund balance. The unassigned fund balance for FY19 as of 6/30 was, approximately 3.6, 3.7 million. That's around 365 days of FY19 operating expenses. So there's basically 365 days of operating expenses sitting in the unassigned fund balance. Last year there was 304. So we typically like to see 90 to 120 because that gets you the property tax time. So the unassigned fund balance is very healthy, I guess is another way to word it. Maybe look at trying to get that decrease that a little bit as well. So then I want to move to page 17. This is going to be the statements of revenues and expenditures and change in fund balance for the governmental funds. Overall, the net change in fund balance for the governmental funds increased just under $400,000. The general fund increased around $221,000. Property tax revenue at the top line there, just over $4 million. That increased around $97,000 compared to last year, or approximately 2.4% from last year. So, next I want to move to page 20 and 21. This is the statement of the revenues and expenditures for your proprietary funds, for the utility funds. All right, so overall, the net position for those utility funds increased just over $1 million. You can see, water had an increase of $2,700, sewer $600,000, electric $446,000. So that was how the $1 million, how the increase occurred between those three funds. If you look up above, there's an operating income or loss line. The 2 out of the 3 utility funds had operating income. The water had a slight loss of $44,000. So then I want to move to page 44. These are the notes of the financial statements we're getting into now. The notes have a lot of detailed information about the statements themselves and the numbers on the statements, I should say. Page 44, there's a table there just showing the change in long-term liabilities. And I point that out just because you can see the change in debt. The city did issue a new revenue bond in the electric fund during FY19. But an old debt was paid off with the new debt. There was a lower interest rate. It was a savings for the city to do that. So just want to point that out. Then I want to move to the budget to actual statement, which is on page 59 and 60. This shows the disbursements that occurred during the year compared to what was budgeted. And I just want to note that disbursements did not exceed what was budgeted for FY19. Otherwise, that's all I have. Is there any questions?
Logan, did you have any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you, though.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for keeping it.
You're not used to
sweet.
this crowd, are you?
No.
We like to get the information out. D1A, motion accepting and placing on file the 2018-2019 City of Webster City audit.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Hartman. Yes. Hawkins.
Yes. Okay, item 2 on the agenda is a public hearing. It's past 6:05 PM. Public hearing on a proposed to buy city-owned property located within 1100 block of Superior Street, Webster City, Iowa. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
City staff received 8 written objections. I've made council members copies provided for you this evening. If there's any others who would like copies of the objections, contact me. They'll be provided as requested. Written objections were received from the following. Connie Evans, 1620 Juanita Court, Webster City, received by email January 2nd, 2020 at 8:53 a.m. Jennifer Bernard, no address provided, received by email January 2nd, 2020 at 8:54 p.m. Sarah Trueblood, 308 Water Street, Webster City, received by email January 4th, 2020 at 2:39 p.m. Sue Doolittle, 912 North Terrace Drive, Webster City, received by email January 4th, 2020 at 8:35 p.m. McKinley Bailey, 1406 Locust Street, Webster City, received by email January 5th, 2020 at 4:36 p.m. Deb Brown, no address provided, received by email January 6th, 2020 at 9:45 a.m. Leonard Curtis, no address provided, received by email January 6th, 2020 at 11:41 a.m. And sealed envelopes were delivered to council members by Joel Peterson, January 6th, 2020 at 2:52 p.m. That they had at their seats this evening. We've also received a petition, change.org, presented by Suimi Sosa. I received this at 5:32. I have not had the chance to count the number of signatures. Estimated was about 1,200 signatures, but several of those, about 300 or so, are from out of state, out of town, so they cannot be considered as part of the petition. So this time, that's all I've received.
All right, so as far as oral objections, I guess, Gary, did you want to say something first? But before you speak also, all who wish to be given the opportunity to speak, I ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes. I ask that you come to the podium over here, state your name and address. Only those who follow these procedure will be recorded in the minutes. I'd also like to remind you that, you know, to keep your back talking and anything else down so that people can be heard. Anyway, Gary, if you want to start off.
My name is Gary Groves, and I think most of you maybe know who I am and been involved with the city for a number of years as city attorney and then previous to that county attorney. So my roots in this county go back a ways.
What's your address, Gary?
Address? You would ask me that. It is 1504 Sparkle Court. You throw me right off the bat. Well, I can tell by the attendance. When I got back from Colorado on Friday, I saw the paper, and then I saw the paper again this morning. So I thought I wanted to give some thought to this and maybe make some comments that hopefully will enlighten instead of arouse. It's very certain it's when people in a community like this are confronted with the question of whether or not a public park should be sold to a private entity. There's good reason for whatever that may be, whether it's for increased tax base or for, in some capacity, for economic development. There's no question for a council or for a community to use extreme caution together with due diligence, because that's going to dictate a decision that should not be and will not be lightly made. This park was established in 1857. It was the oldest park in Webster City. It started out as two blocks, which they called the public square by the plat of Webster City. And over the early years of Webster City, the business district was in that area on Seneca Street, and so was the community life of Webster City concentrated in that area. So this park goes back and is a major part of the early years for certain, if not in the later years. However, as we know, time changes things. And this community has changed its business district from that area on Seneca Street to Des Moines Street and now to Superior Street. Things change, and the public square, which was called that for many years, has also changed, and we now call it the East and West Twin Parks. I think as I give this thought, it's fair to say today that the usage of East Twin Park has diminished over the years in comparison to the public usage of the West Twin Park and the other city-owned parks. Which brings us to the question, as we are facing here to discuss tonight, is whether or not the benefits of a sale of this park, the northern 5/8 of the park, to a private entity, a Dollar General store, for an amount of $119,944.64. Does that outweigh both the historic and the usage value of the park as it currently exists? As a general rule, I do not favor at all the sale of publicly owned land to a private entity. This park was given in trust to the city, and I see a park as a major portion of the community life. However, as I gave this more thought, I can see a legitimate argument that can be made that such a sale could be, I emphasize could be, in the community's best interest, provided there are certain terms and conditions that are added to the proposed agreement that's before the council now. Number one, this community is dealing with Dollar General on this agreement. Dollar General is cited by Investor Business Daily as the #1 retail discount variety group in this country. It consists of over 15,472 stores in 44 states, and it currently plans to open this year, if not next, an additional 975 stores, mid and small communities such as ours. As far as its business profile, it has increased in growth value over the last 5 years by a healthy 132%. Needless to say, the community is negotiating a contract with a very formidable party. However, it should be pointed out, Dollar General has been doing business in this community at 814, I think, Superior Street for a number of years. Dollar General knows the business climate of this city and most certainly is aware by its priority of choice the value of the store's location. Being shown various options for locations, as I understand the city attempted to do, Dollar General prefers the northern 5/8 interest of the East Twin Parks. And quite frankly, why wouldn't they? With frontage along Bank Street, as well as Superior Street, this, my friends, is a prime location for business purposes within this city. And I believe it should be noted, it's my opinion without verification, that this is substantially worth more than the amount they're offering you, which I understand has been arrived at some mathematical scheme of assessment. We can certainly understand the position of Dollar General to argue for the best location and to get the best price they can cut. But the position of this community, I think, in any action, I believe that the position of this community, that any action you're doing now should be delayed until such time as at least a certified, independent, and complete appraisal is made of the East Park. For purposes of a commercial value that this park offers, that value for commercial purposes is worth more than some assessment that might be made at the courthouse. As we all know, as I can tell tonight, passions run high in this community, whether it's on social media or Facebook or in the coffee shops in reference to this sale as currently proposed. I don't blame anybody for being upset because emotions are part of our city and our park. It's understandable. But it should reflect warning signals to us all that require extreme caution by our decision makers that such decision be taken, not to be taken lightly. Therefore, it becomes important that the public be fully informed on all surrounding facts with a full opportunity to put input into any final decision that may be made here. I think the park board certainly had not been bypassed, if they have been, because they have a strong voice in what should be done and how things should be done for our parks. Now, in the event the sale to Dollar General should occur, and for me to support such a sale, number one, the price certainly must be higher. Number two, the public certainly needs to be more fully informed and correctly informed. And thirdly, and most importantly, I believe, all the funds received from the sale must be reinvested towards the improvement and the enhancement of the existing community parks, which include Kendall Young Park, which includes the Brewer Creek Park, which includes Lyons Stafford Park, the neighborhood park, includes Comus Park. It's going to include the Weirheim neighborhood park. It includes the West Twin Park, and it includes the Wilson Brewer Park. So should all of the above become a reality, I believe time will show a greater benefit will occur to all members of our community regardless of age, as compared to the continued ownership of the park in the as-is state of condition. Thanks, Barry.
You can line up there if you want to, those who want to speak. Just keep moving down.
My name is Jerry Sonsalo, live at 801 Crestview Drive here in Webster City. And you've already got some of the letters. I got one from McKinney Bailey and one from Barr. What I'd like to give City Council is an additional 180 names opposed to the sale.
Did you go out and get those personally?
No, these were given to me by Becky Kepler.
And friends.
No, thank you.
Jeff Bingleton, 18 South Street. First, it was stated to me by one of the councilmen that you're here in the best interest of the city of Webster City, but you also have to take in mind you're here to represent the people of Webster City, which by the turnout here and the petitions that have been turned in, I would say, show that the people of Webster City are not in favor of. And by the gentleman that was up here previously that did the audit for last year, I'd say we're standing pretty good as far as tax revenue wise. We have 365 days in the bank where he recommended 90 to 120 days. So I don't think we need that extra tax revenue that you're gonna generate by the new building from Dollar General. So with that said, I'm just up here to ask, what do you, Matt, Brian, John, Caitlin, and Logan want your legacy to be? Do you think people are gonna remember that you're the ones that generated a few dollars of revenue from Dollar General? Or do you think your legacy will be, you're the ones that gave away to the park? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lemmy. I live in 408 West Curve Drive. For Gary, he said something about if we make the sale, we can use it to improve the parks. And I am part of the Parks and Rec Commission, and let me tell you that $200,000 do not go a long ways. And even if we, I don't know, make a significant amount of money every year from it in tax money, that's not gonna be enough. Maybe in 20, 30 years, we'll have the parks we want. Or maybe not, right? It's all a speculation. We don't know. It's a risk. I would like to thank you for your service. You know, this isn't where I wanted to be, and I'm sure this isn't the position you thought about. But here we are, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to speak. And I'm here to oppose the sale of East Green Park. As most of you know, I belong to the Parks and Rec Commission because you appointed me. I've been living here on and off for the last 20 years and have made it home for the last 6 years. I got married here, I bought my first house here, and all my nieces and nephews from my mom's side of the family have been born in this city. My family owns multiple businesses on 2nd Street, and they live in the north, south, west, center, and east side of the town. And my husband has built many houses in this town and has worked in a lot of other projects because he works for a local contractor. And so I believe that selling the park without being as transparent as you could have been seems kind of wrong to me and actually kind of shady. It has always been my theory that nothing good comes out of bad things or things that are not exactly clear. And if you go through this with this deal, how can we trust you again to make the right choices in the future? Furthermore, the park belongs to the people, and I fundamentally believe that. No public park should ever be sold without asking us first if it's even for sale. Yeah. And you may know better. You may understand economic policy best and how the government works and all that, but I fundamentally understand that taking something that's not entirely yours and that's open to anyone in the community and selling it to a Dollar General is inherently wrong. A few $100,000 in government budget does not way too much, and you all know that. The decision to destroy a park, turn it into a giant parking lot, and even if it's the most beautiful parking lot we've ever seen, will never compare to a place where we can interact with nature. Because truthfully, tell me, when any of you have gone into a Dollar General store and felt like, damn, this feels good. The answer for me is never. So now think back on the times when you have gone to a park with your family, and you know, you just like relax and you're there, you picnic, whatever, your kids go and do stuff. I do that every week. I don't have kids, but I go walking. And last night I went walking in the park because I just like being in nature, and that's my escape from like reality and life. And even though it's cold outside. So please think about this. Say no to the Southeast Twin Park. There will always be another Dollar General, but there will never be another East Twin Park.
Hi, my name is Anastasia Iverson. My address is 524 Elmhurst Drive. I'm a 14-year-old and a freshman at the high school here in town. I'm also a member of the Youth Advisory Committee, which is a branch of the City Council. I came here today to be the voice of the youth and give my opinion on this deal. I messaged and talked to over 50 youth, and most did not want to lose this park. As you all know, Dollar General is making an offer with the city to buy the 1.4-acre property that is the East Twin Park. I feel like we should set up a fundraiser to help remodel the park instead of having Dollar General buy the park to build a new building. If Dollar General wants a new building, I feel they should buy the old Shopko or Kmart building. This would utilize current unused space instead of getting rid of space already currently used. However, the business has refused to buy these properties and other properties that was shown to them. I understand it would be nice for the business to have a new and bigger building that they own, but we can't let businesses push us around. Some pros and cons to keep in mind here. Pros, the business has a bigger building and the city will gain more tax increasement and would give the city more profit, but not much. We would have $200,000 to fix up parks and to build a new park. The cons. The city would lose a park that has been part of the town for over 100 years. Trees will be cut down, and we're not bringing a new business to town. And there won't be many jobs, unlike a bigger business like Walmart or Target. We will lose a park that many people have memories of playing there as a child, or hanging out there with friends, or bringing their children there. Do these pros truly outweigh the cons? How much can $200,000 truly do for the city in the long run? Is it really worth taking out one of the town's parks for a business to build a new building? The city says that the park is underused, but they have no evidence to prove this as a fact. I know that the baseball court, skate park, swings, and BMX dirt track, along with the shelter areas, are used during the warmer months. If this deal goes through, and if the city was to build a new park or relocate the basketball court and skate park, the cost to buy new land would take up funds that could be used to fix up other parks. The city would also lose the taxing on that property. As Logan Welch has stated in a Facebook post, $20,000 wouldn't be enough money to create a new park or to improve other parks to the standard that Webster City deserves. I myself had talked with numerous youth and made a poll on Facebook and Instagram, and no one wants to see this park go. When it's nice out, you'll see several kids and even adults using East Twin Park. And since it's right next to the pool and West Twin Park, it's a great location for kids to go before and after swimming. However, I feel that if the park was remodeled and had more playground equipment in it, it would be used more frequently and would be greatly appreciated throughout the community. There are several residents, current and past, that are willing to donate and invest in the park to bring it back to its former glory, including Eli Abbott. So please, instead of getting rid of this park, let's set up a fundraiser to fix up this park and other parks such as Nokomis, Kendall Young, the dog park, etc. Thank you for giving me the time to voice the opinions of the youth and the people of Webster City.
Good evening, my name is Kavon Edwards and my address is 307 Maple Avenue here in Webster City. I am a 18-year-old senior at the Webster City High School here, and I have come here to voice my opinion over selling East Twin Park to Dollar General. To many people, East Twin Park is an iconic landmark in Webster City. Its location adjacent to West Twin Park on Superior Street has made it a convenient central gathering place for the people of this town, as well as making it a centerpiece for incoming travelers through this town. This park has a basketball court, a skate park, a BMX dirt bike course, and a playground, all of which have been used quite liberally by the people of Webster City. This place has served as a central cultural hotspot for over a century. Selling this land to Dollar General would set a very dangerous precedent. This would show that we would rather bend the knee to corporate demands instead of standing up for the people and their culture. While it is true that the East Twin Park is in need of some repairs, this does not come close to justifying selling it away. As many of my peers and classmates have stated, this park is an important part of the city. They have grown up using this park, and I am sure it would grow to be useful to people generations later. The offer made by Dollar General is simply not good enough to turn out beneficial to Webster City. There are plenty of empty or unused lots in town that would serve as a better location for Dollar General. Simply put, the about $200,000 price tag for this purchase will not be enough to either replace East Twin Park or to repair any of our other existing parks. This potential investment would not even guarantee any business growth, as this would only serve to relocate an already existing business in this town. In conclusion, East Twin Park has served an important cultural landmark for most of Webster City's history. Selling this land to Dollar General will serve to destroying local culture, along with being a poor investment for the long-term prosperity of our town. Thank you for your consideration.
Good evening. This is my first time actually being at a city council meeting. I'm Cody Slater. I live at 912 Bell Avenue, apartment 1, and I'm kind of opposed to selling East Twin Park because if we build another Dollar General, it's just going to inherit the same problems that the old Dollar General has. You're going to have people stealing and whatnot. And I rather drive by a park every day on my way home and to work, instead of driving and looking at the back of a building. I mean, there's a lot of people here that have a lot of memories of that park. I even have fond memories of that park. I grew up being at that park. If you're going to sell away childhood memories and fond memories, then what good is that going to do? I mean, $200,000, yeah, that's a lot, but I mean, I'm sure you guys can ask for way a lot more. Or just spend the extra money on fixing other parks. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Sarah Trueblood. I live at 308 Water Street, Webster City. I did submit a written letter to the city council members as well as the city manager. First of all, I commend the youth in our community. With that being said, I spent 32 years of my career supporting you. I feel very strongly about listening to them and letting them be heard. With that said, I live across the street from East Twin Park. My neighbors I see are here tonight as well. I am not saying that because I live across the street from East Twin Park and I feel bad that a dollar store might be my new neighbor. Yes, that bothers me, but what bothers me more are the beautiful trees on the north side of that park that will be cut down. What bothers me more is that I live across the street and I see kids there every day, contrary to the people who have said there's an underutilization. There are kids in that skate park almost every day. I wish I would have known this would have happened. I would have started taking data about how often that park has been used. I feel that people don't see people there on a daily basis because they don't live across the street. And I see people with pickup basketball games almost every night in the summertime. I see people in that skate park. Please do not say that park is not used. That is incorrect unless you have data to prove that it is not utilized. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jerry Cloverdance at 20 Cedar Street. You guys got a tough job. We have crowds like this all the time. I guess the only thing that I want to say is, yeah, we're talking about a Dollar General store. At last Tuesday's meeting when I was here, and at the conversation, I wasn't aware that it was a Dollar General store. I was thinking that it was something new coming to town to add to the community. I'm opposed to the decision to try to sell these Twin Parks, but at the same time, I think that looking what's going on here tonight is that it's obvious people support the park, but at the same time, we need to try to make it to where it's utilized more if it stays where it's at. I happen to drive by there pretty regular. I go to the races every Saturday night. I do use Dollar General from time to time. But there's 6 swings in it and two. Yeah, well, there's not much there. I mean, there used to be things for the kids to play on, more swings, teeter totters, jungle gyms, that type of stuff. And for whatever reason, we decided to take a lot of that. It'd be nice, and I do like hearing that we should do some fundraisers for this at other parks. Hopefully we'll get the people to support that, and we can start maybe do a GoFundMe page or something to that effect to try to improve the park and also look for a place where Dollar General can build another store. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I'm Pat Chambers. I live at 2410 Saratoga Road. I've lived in Webster City all but a few years of my life while I was attending college and law school. It's already been said that this was dedicated as a park in 1857, almost 160 years ago. It was dedicated by a public servant who would probably be rolling over in his grave thinking that someday a store is going to be built for a commercial use on his property. The city's attitude about the park bothers me. First of all, parks are parks. You can't put a value on them. I don't know how anybody can appraise what the value of a park is to a community or to an individual. It doesn't have a value in terms of something you can put your fingers on. It's there for use. It's there for green stuff. It's there for people to use. Part of the duties and the obligations of the city is to provide things for the public and the citizens of the community that nobody else will, like parks, like streets, like sewer and water. Some of those things don't produce any income. You can't value them based on whether or not they produce income, or for that matter, whether everybody in the community uses them. They're available for those who want to use them. I grew up 1 block south of that park, along with my 7 younger siblings. I can tell you that my family spent thousands of hours in that park. And part of the difference is that there aren't many opportunities in that park anymore. All of the equipment that was there, no longer there. The city hasn't maintained the equipment as they should have, and most of the parks in this community are either maintained by service clubs or private donations. I think that's the city's responsibility, and I'm glad those people step up and do it, but I think that's your responsibility. If you take this park that was donated and set aside by a landowner 160 years ago and give it to a commercial enterprise, what motivation does somebody else come along to have to give to the city for public use, a piece of property or something else for public use in the future, knowing that the city has no respect for the donor's intent and that it may become a Dollar General store down the road. Commercial entities come and go. I guarantee you that 160 years from now, Dollar General won't be at that location. Unlike my learned council friend, Mr. Groves, I don't think having an appraiser come and put a value on this property means anything. You can't value green space. I would urge the city council to turn this down. Might also point out that this piece of property is zoned R4, which does not permit a commercial enterprise, and it's going to take a change in the zoning regulations to even allow this use. And I guess I don't know a whole lot about zoning law. I can learn a little bit about it, but this to me seems to be the ideal definition of spot zoning. You take a piece of property and zone it for a specific use when it's not in that area. So I would appreciate the city council passing on this opportunity. There are lots of places in town for that store to go. As somebody's already mentioned, we got, I think I heard tonight that the one building might be sold, but Kmart property is still available, and that would be a darn good place for a store. Thank you.
Cass Township to speak because I'm outside city limits.
You're fine.
Okay, 2116 190th Street, Webster City, 50595, Tiffany Larson. So I restrained, took a lot, to not engage on social media. I felt it was more vital to come and speak to you all in person. I work with youth. I work with adults in this community. I love this community. I wouldn't dress up in a bee outfit and buzz around town if it didn't. With that, I'm gonna make another insect kind of transition here, comparison. We would not have butterflies if it wasn't for change. However, that transformation process that happens takes time. It's something that doesn't happen overnight, 2 to 3 months. It takes time to really take consideration and build on. And I feel that just the fast response of this coming out and this here, that transformation process of this whole situation maybe was too quick. That cocoon didn't have time to build, to hear all the information, all that kind of stuff. University of Iowa selected Webster City as a location to come engage when it comes to arts and culture, parks and rec, downtown revitalization. I was looking through their recommendations in the master matrix recommendations that they put out. And on page, 87, I believe it is, it didn't say commercial use as the recommendations. Everybody who knows me knows that I frequent the DG often. I'm pro Dollar General in this community, but not for the sake of a community park. I know I've heard and read many comments that it's underutilized. Maybe it would be more utilized if it was revitalized. So please take that into consideration as you guys are making your decisions. Thank you.
I'm Robin Cushman, 1601 Des Moines Street here in Webster City. My question is, if you do sell, what would you do with the old Dollar General store? Would it sit there and be an eyesore? What would you do with it?
We're not having a question and answer thing.
Well, but that's my question to you when you have the time to answer. Would it sit there and look like an eyesore? I'm sorry, I don't want to see an eyesore. I would rather they fix it up, keep the park, and bring it back. Thank you.
I'm Gabriella Cushman. Sorry about that. I live also in 1601 Des Moines Street here in Webster City, and I have to agree with my mother. It's like, I don't want to see this major eyesore of a building for who knows how long, because we have had those 2 other buildings, the old Shawco building and the old Kmart building, for who knows how long. And I'm tired of just seeing buildings as eyesores. And like everybody else who has come up here to say, I want to save the park. And because there are a bunch of wonderful memories that everybody here has had. And I would hate to lose a park to a building. Because, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, because like even though there is not much left in the park, I would like to see it grow into something better, like much more than there already is, because there has been a lot taken out of that park. And I would rather see a beautiful park with children running around than a building that I mean, how many of us actually would want another building that who knows how long that would actually stay for. And I personally would say, let's keep the park and not have another eyesore of a building.
Hi, I'm Lindsay McCormick Welch. I live on 2102 Rockland Road. I'm also Logan Welch's wife, and I'm a mother and a lifelong resident of Webster City, and I'm also on a city-appointed committee of Wilson Brewer Park. On that note, I'm going to try to make it quick, but I just want to bring your point at our Wilson Brewer Park meetings. You probably, I guess, council, you've already set a promise to the city of Webster City and a clear route of how you want to take going forward in saying that you supported Wilson Brewer Park and our history, our culture, and our parks. So we've already determined the culture and the climate of Webster City. I would hate for that to change. So I'm asking you guys to not forget what we've established. Also, about every other meeting that comes up at Wilson Brewer Park is that we had part of that park go away once. And that was a very long time ago, and we still regret it, and we cussed out the council people at that time who let that go. And now we're at the county mercy, waiting and hoping that we could please use their land as a parking lot, and maybe they'll gift it to us one day. If we get rid of parks, it's probably not gonna happen. I think it's gonna be hard for us as a committee and as a city to ask small donors, large donors to commit to that park in any fundraising effort if we show this is how we value our community parks and that they are not permanent. Also, I just want to say it struck me as at least 3 speakers came up here today that are listed on that board. That is your appointed board that you guys approved. We interviewed with you, our past council members, and you asked us to be your direct link of voices of the community and to advise you. I think that speaks volumes. If anybody else in this audience has sat on an advisory board at one time or another, is on one, or has been on the council, if you wouldn't mind raising your hand. Like I see more of them out here. Do you see that? These are the people that you yourself asked to advise you, and we're giving you a clear message that the park is not for sale.
My name is John Laird. I live at 1309 3rd Street here in Webster City. I've been a resident of Webster City for 24 years. I am a graduate of Winona State University. My major is in Parks and Recreation. This has been an emotionally very hard time for me to deal with this, to think that anybody would put a dollar value on a park. I work constantly with people in park settings. I see the benefits of it. I find it very upsetting that you would even consider it. I am all in favor of getting a Dollar General store relocated in another location, but not at that location. I think it's a bad idea in a lot of ways, and I just wanted to go on record that I oppose that. Something happened in the 24 years that I've lived here. I've raised my family here. I've become a Webster City person. I'm originally from Lehigh, originally a Webster County person. Now I consider myself a Webster City person. And I value the parks and in the city and out of the city and the rest of the county. And that is a major draw. I talk to people at my job constantly that come to here, this area, for our parks. There is no value that can be put on the parks in this county. And we also just celebrated 100 years of Briggs Woods being the first county park in the state of Iowa. This is the year we are celebrating 100 years of Iowa state parks. What does this say for Webster City to even consider this as an option? I just very caringly want to express my concern and how I do not want you to sell that for a Dollar General store. And my wife would be here tonight too, but she had a job she had to go to tonight. So anyway, that's my opinion. Thank you for listening.
I'm Ann Ness at 520 Pleasant Street. I'm here as a citizen as well as on Park and Rec Board. And I echo everybody's feelings tonight, and I'm really disappointed that Park and Rec didn't know anything about this video business. And I think that's a real disappointment because we've all heard from you guys that that's very important. Parks are and the trails are. And I know, God bless Ken Hurst, that he would be very disappointed right now.
I'm Dick Gibbs. I live at 820 High Street here in town. If I read correctly, the land wouldn't be sold to Dollar General. It's going to be sold to the holding company, who would then lease the land and or building to Dollar General. This is so wrong in so many different ways. This is public land. This is not something to be given away. And like all the other people have said, there's a lot of buildings in town. Screw Dollar General. We're all taxpayers here. We all pay for everything that goes on in this city. And I just think it's a travesty to even consider getting rid of this land from the park. I live on the east side. I drive by that park every day. I see people in it every day, as Sarah Trueblood said. It would be a crying shame to get rid of this park. It's our park, it's nobody else's. They can buy land someplace else. They can buy the building they're in now, tear it down, and put a new building up there. The few times I've been at Dollar General, I about knocked the front end off my vehicles because the parking lot is in such bad disrepair. And from what I've read on the internet, other locations through the country, it's kind of a common thing that Dollar General just doesn't take care of stuff. And we don't need to be getting rid of our personal stuff, and I'm including all of us in that.
My name is Jerry Wells. My address is 856 Division Street. I've been a member of the community for 75 years. Came here as a young child, starting 3rd grade. I watched the city grow, and I'm very proud of it. I would also like to start by commending, many of you may not realize, but the city fathers have tried. They tried to persuade this developer, this is not the site you want, we'll find you a better one. It didn't work. My information is that they said, no, this is the right fit. And maybe city council bought into that program, I don't know. It's beside the point at this time. But I would like to kind of set a scenario, if I may. I'm going to digress just a little bit, but as you know, many of you know that the little Doodlebug scooter was built here between 1946 and 1948. Every year in September for the last 33 years, Webster City has hosted, I should say, the Doodle Blood Club of America, based in Webster City, Iowa now, has hosted the annual reunion. We have members in 37 states, including Alaska. Well, I'm sorry, our Alaskan member just died at the age of 83. He won't make it this year. We have members from 37 states, coast to coast and border to border. Each year, about 18 to 22 states are represented by these people that come back to the little town of Webster City, Iowa, to commemorate that little scooter. We, as a committee, promote the city of Webster City as one of the finest small communities they'll ever be in. And guess what? We have proven to them that that's correct. Some of these people drive 2,300 miles to spend a week with us. We ride the trails that the community has provided. We take them to the parks that the community has provided. We show them the West Twin Parks, the Cantor Mullenhoff Plaza. They're amazed. The question they have is, how can a city of this size afford the kind of recreational facilities that you have? And we said, it's not easy. They try real hard to raise money. Now, my final statement is this. Each year, we're given the opportunity in Webster City as a club to ride the streets. Now, they know we're illegal, we're not street legal machines. The city is very cordial in allowing us to ride safely on the streets in groups. Almost every day of the reunion, which will last a week, and it'll be in September, so be sure and come out. You'll know what I'm talking about. We ride down this street from the fairgrounds to go almost anywhere we're going, and I pray that in 2020, we will not have to ride past a construction site and the guys are gonna ask, what are they doing here? And we'll have to explain, well, the city sold one of our parks to a commercial developer. Let's go become known as a city who sold our parks. We don't need that.
Good evening. Janet Adams, 1102 Division Street, Webster City, Iowa. As a former mayor, I know you have a tough job. I appreciate what you're doing. I am very pleased that you're listening to citizens. They have many good things to say, and I know you're learning from them. You have a tough decision to make. I did talk to the mayor quite a bit on Saturday, and I expressed my concerns to him. I hope that we can save the park, and I know, you will negotiate something that will keep the park, that will find a place for Dollar General that will be suitable for them. I really have that confidence in you, and I think I'm counting on you, as are most other people in the community. So I hope you'll give that a lot of consideration. We spend a lot of park, when I say we, my family and another committee of Arts for Alive people, spend a lot of time in the parks all summer long. West Twin Parks is used a lot, and you know what, it needs a lot of work too. There has been more than one time when I talked to Kent Hars, bless his soul, about reseeding the lawn there, because it would be much easier to walk in. We need to do that on the East Twin Park also, and in the other parks in our community. Let's look at what we have now. Let's renegotiate a deal. Let's save our parks, and let's all be proud, council members and citizens, of what we can do together. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Tanya Doyle. I live here sometimes I live in Boone, sometimes I live in Luther, sometimes I live in Ames, and most of the time I live in my Subaru Outback. So anyway, my Webster City address is 1021 Prospect, across the street from Jeff Jim. And so I came to get my gray hairs fixed last week here in town, and had a drink at my friend Larry's joint. And I heard there was some scuttlebutt around town about this problem. And I teach and coach problem solving. I teach it at Iowa State University. I teach it at my restaurant. I teach it at manufacturing firms, banks. It doesn't matter what it is. But when we have a problem, we usually look at what is the plan? Where are we going? Why are we going there? What's our purpose? And so thanks to Darlene Dingman, I got on a local Facebook page, and I saw that there was a master plan done by this group from the University of Iowa. And I was highly impressed by this because we do these projects at Iowa State University too, in the Ag and Biosystems Engineering College. They're called capstone projects. I have seniors. These were graduate students. I did some sneaking up on them on LinkedIn. They're very bright people. Very bright people. One of them's an economic development executive director in Illinois right now. So this 180-page plan for the city of Webster City for the downtown area, which is very expansive. It's not Main Street. It's quite large. There's a beautiful plan for us to follow, and there's a beautiful plan for us to follow with the Parks and Rec also. I was super impressed. So what I don't know is the current condition. So what we do in lean and continuous improvement is we say, what's the plan? And then we look at current condition, where are we at today? And then we usually have a measurable gap that we can solve, okay? And after that, we start doing root cause problem solving. And we spend most of our time doing root cause problem solving. So when I looked at this problem and I looked at these plans, I'm really confused as to what the problem is that we're trying to solve. Because I think somebody has thrown a shiny object at us to deter us from where we need to go. Now, I have a lot of pride in Webster City. I grew up here. My dad was the production superintendent at Franklin's Manufacturing, WCI, Webster City Products, Frigidaire, Electrolux. Anybody else got any more names? Anyway, they decided that Juarez, Mexico was a really super cool place to go. So they left, and they left us high and dry. My dad would say that. My dad recently passed away 5 years ago. So anyway, I have great pride in this community, and I have great pride in helping this community. And so I'm volunteering my time to be on one of these committees to help the city get out of the situation they're in, to grow the city, because our problem is not Dollar General wanting our park. That's really not our problem, guys. We have a shiny object in front of us. Our problem is growing our city. We watched Fort Dodge grow. Fort Dodge got the Lean Award at the Iowa Lean Consortium about 5 years ago, David did, for what they did over there in the police department and the fire department and the city. So we can do the same. We can network. I belong to the Iowa Lean Consortium. I teach this stuff. I don't have any time right now in my life, but I will find time for Webster City.
My name is Isabel Booker at 1329 Steiner Boulevard. I've worked at the outdoor pool and Fuller Hall for about 3 years. And I would just like to share one more time the perspective of the pool on how this park has impacted the town. And we truly do see kids at it every single day, before, after, and during the time the pool is open. Even if you're promising to move our park somewhere else, you are still taking away a safe spot for kids to go before and after the hours of the pool. And just taking away one more spot for kids to actually be active outside and play and not be so consumed in their phones. It's just a really good addition to this town, and it'd be a shame if it was taken away.
Jane Curtis, 824 First Street, Webster City. Mr. Sheridan, welcome to town.
Thank you.
This day had to come. I don't remember how many years ago it was. I was still living in Denver, Colorado, and Gary will remember this. I came back because I'd read the specifications on the sale of the old fire station, and they wouldn't allow anybody to really successfully rehab it. And so Gary very generously rewrote those specs so that it could become what it is today, this fabulously redone place that the Bargfrieds live in. It was headed to be a parking lot before that. I was alone that day. In fact, I remember that when I was getting ready to come down here to speak, my mother said to me, well, what makes you think you've got something to say? And it makes me think about my friend Marilyn Vanderburg Atler, the former Miss America, who was incested by her father. I wondered why someone didn't say anything, and then I realized I was someone. Every one of you are someone. And this day had to come because our community has been fractured by bad choices and bitter feelings that were left over from them. And so here we are, and Tanya is right. This is not about Dollar General. This is about coming together. She just talked about Fort Dodge. Some of you may know I'm the emeritus editor of the Fort Dodge Messenger. I retired in June. I can tell you why Fort Dodge is succeeding. Those people communicate with one another. They work with one another in everything that they do. They are in constant contact. The Webster County supervisors have a representative who weekly meets with the city council representatives. They don't do it in quorum. The Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance, which has offered to help Webster City, has organized incredible resources, and they send people all over the world marketing Fort Dodge. And they've been successful. Fort Dodge is an ag center, and I think they've really got their finger on that. We are not going to be that. We're probably never going to be a manufacturing hub. But you know, that's okay, because we don't have to be a manufacturing hub. We're successful the way we are. We can be a jewel. We can be the one thing that no one else is. We can be Webster City. We can be the town that has Pulitzer Prize winners honored here, and a fabulous historic park that was given to us by the man who came here and stayed for, a little while, built a cabin, left his family, and walked to another state to encourage people to come to this town, which wasn't named Webster City then, but it was a town whose birth was happening. He walked in order to bring people here. We need to work together. We need to talk. We need to not make decisions behind closed doors or call each other and say, okay, well, let's agree we're gonna do it this way. That doesn't work, folks. It doesn't work in any walk of life. Communication is the key. Fort Dodge has shown us exactly what they need to do, and we need to follow their example. And we need to talk to one another. It is, if nothing else, this situation has brought all of these people to this room, and that is rare. Congratulations, what you started. This is a turning point for this community. We need to never go back to the bad decisions we made in the past. We need to just kick them to the curb and not worry about them. We can't fix them, we can't explain them, we can't get that money back. None of that is going to happen, but let's not do the same thing again, ever. I'm against it, by the way.
I'll state my name. I'm Jeff McGraw. I live at 1751 175th Street. So I am in the country, but I hope that works. All right, I'm gonna address this obviously between me and Brian. Brian can't be here. He had a meeting that he had to meet somewhere else. So to the council members of Webster City. So this kind of comes from both of us. I spent 18.
Hey Jeff, before you proceed, let them know who Brian is.
Brian Spangler. Oh.
We all know, but.
Okay, Brian Spangler. Yep. Okay, we'll make it real easy. We're the dealership right down the road.
Wait just a minute. Logan, are you still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay,
All right, well,
sorry.
I'll start again.
Yeah.
There we go. I spent 18 years of my life as a resident of Webster City. I left nearly 20 years ago to sell automotives. I should say vehicles as a career. 2 years ago, I purchased a property here in Webster City that was going in and out of business. Obviously, if you know, on 2nd Street, 1118 2nd Street, Webster City, was multiple different businesses prior to us purchasing it. Today, it has been going and thriving quite well, as most of you drive by and see us switch inventory a lot. As I've looked around in this community and around here right now, I see a lot of faces I know that has purchased something. So well that we're trying to take an opportunity to give back in multiple different organizations in town. I do this because it's the place that I call home, and people of Webster City are supporting my business. They are what makes it all possible. For months, okay, so I'll rephrase it. For months, before we were looking to purchase this property, we looked along Superior Street. I never thought a park would be an option, or even don't think I feel it's right to take something from the city that has been a gathering spot for families for many years. When I heard the news that it was going to be sold to a company that does nothing for the community and takes all the proceedings away, it was sickening. I am for the park to stay. That should not be sold. If you are going to sell the property, it should be put up for bid. There should be no rush to sell it to a corporate America for $199,000, which is undervalued, which everyone here has already said on the property. I would pay and this is coming from Brian, wait a minute, I'll make sure this is clear. I would pay way more if that property was available. If that property stays as a park, I am willing to donate $20,000 to a new park and equipment. I challenge other local businesses and donors to match my donation. This is a place that many of us call home. Thank you for considering Brian Spangler, Spangler Automotive, and Jeff McReynolds.
You gonna try it now?
I'm gonna try it now.
Good evening, my name is Chris Kehoe. I live at 1924 Wilson Avenue. I have been on the Parks and Rec Commission for almost 20 years. I have been chairperson for nearly 10. I would concur with Ann. I was pretty shocked last week when I heard through social media and everything else about the situation that came about. On the Park and Rec Commission, our goal has been to create quality life and opportunities for the citizens of Webster City. And we have done that. The city has done that as well. But every year, I look at budgets that we have to do as the Park and Rec Commission. Our 5-year capital improvements. What can go, what can stay, what can't. And every year when it comes up to maybe we need new recreation equipment or something else, it kind of gets pushed back to the next year and the next year. So we have a great opportunity to look at what we can do as a community and as a council. I'm excited as a commission member to do that. West Twin Parks, for example, is something that has taken off the last 4 to 5 years from a lot of help from a lot of volunteers that the city hasn't had to do much for. We're looking at, from the Parks and Rec Commission, a new shelter to put there. trying to figure out what makes sense for everyone in this community. East Twin Parks needs to look at some different opportunities. We've talked about the pool, the security of our children when they cross the streets, of what we could do. The parking there is a nightmare. We've tried to look at commission of what we can do. Those are all great things that we can happen and look at, but I think, again, this is an opportunity that we can address tonight to make our parks even better yet. As a business owner, I like progress. I've lived in this community all my life. My children have grown up in this community. 2 of them still live here. So the opportunity is there. I just think we need to take a step back, look what we can do as a council, look what we can do as a commission to further increase the opportunities that we have here. But at the moment, taking East Twin Park away, I do not believe is in our best interest. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anyone out in the hall don't feel they need to come in and say anything? Anybody else? Oh.
I won't take very much of your time here, but I'm just a newcomer to this area.
Can you state your name and address,
My name is
please?
Lee Ayers. I live on the Almond Des Moines Street corner. And I've been here, coming Veterans Day, I'll be here 60 years. And I don't plan to move. And I do plan to use East and West Twin Parks and all the rest of them. West Twin, we brought my band in and we played for sesquicentennial that we had here. We had well over 300 people or so at that time. And we got a lot of nice comments on it. And we play at a lot of these other towns around here. Stanhope in the Park, I think you've heard us play music down there. Stratford, Blairsburg, Dallas. We don't want any small town to disappear. But like I said, I worked for Meredith Corporation out of Des Moines for 45 years, and I lived in this town twice before, and this time I went back and raised our 6 children here, went all through schools and college and everything. We don't plan on losing any of the benefits that we have from many of our parks here. You gotta think for a long time before you make a mistake of letting this parks get away from us. It wasn't very long ago in this East Twin Park that they spent close to $100,000 just on these improvements. Skate places and everything else. As Chris Kehoe said, that we need to figure out some kind of a shelter on the east side as well. So there's many thousands of dollars that we've spent with the different organizations I belong to, have been belonging to for ever since I got here. It's one of the reasons I got to this town is because of the good schools, employment, college. I plan on staying here the rest of my life, and hopefully the family would stay here too. And this is one thing we don't want to lose, is one of the reasons that drew me and a lot of our families are staying around here to this town. The north side of East Twin Park, every year we have dandy parades there. Go right by the north end of the park, and if you turn that into a business, there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to be 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 deep along the whole parade route, from downtown to schools or down through to out to the fairgrounds. But that's well, with the Lions program we just got done putting the West Twin in, or the Lions Park, we've got close to 200,000 that we put in that. And the American Legion, we bought the building next door. We're not wanting to let some of our town go down the drain. And we spent well over 200,000 on that one too, so. But it's something, we just can't let a piece of this and a piece of that go down the Boone River. And first thing you know, that's what's gonna be happening. All the folks that live around east and west Twin Parks, get rid of one park, another's gonna go. But the property value is gonna go downhill just immediately, if that happens. I looked for over a year to find a town that I wanted to raise my family in, and this is it. I don't want to say much more, but I don't want to let anybody run our town down or run part of it out the door. But it's very important to me, and all of our people here, as you very well have noticed, we've got very good representation here. And mostly, I'd say they're on the positive. That's all I can tell you for tonight. So, but thank you all for serving. Thank you all for being here.
Good evening. My name's Terry Hooker. I live at 1329 Snyder Boulevard in Webster City. I know this isn't a question and answer dealie, but I think before you vote, and if this is successful, what are your plans after this? Are you going after West Twin Parks next because of the great success you're going to have with selling East Twin Parks? Another thing you might want to look at is if you want to try to get RAGBRAI here again. West and East Twin Parks was a big part of having RAGBRAI stay the night here for camping. And, you know, I know you guys got a lot of work to do, and it's a hard job. And a lot of these people have been really nice to you tonight, and nobody's really yelled at you or anything. But I think you got some explaining to do. I just don't understand how this even happened. I mean, no one told us nothing. You didn't tell the parks people what was going on. I don't understand. I think you need to explain to us what is going on. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kristen Rubel, and I live at 934 Walnut Street here in Webster. I wasn't planning on getting up here and speaking, but really I wasn't even planning on coming to this thing tonight, but I wanted to support our city, and I just want to tell you guys, you know, and I mean no disrespect, but I see, myself included, I see a lot of older people in this crowd, and that speaks volumes, generations that have been here, and you know, we learn from our history. I see people in the hallways. I am nervous up here talking, but I see people in the hallways, and for my own personal, I'd love to see a splash pad at the park if you could at all. But I just wanted to say, this is awesome that we have so many people, you know, supporting Webster City and our history and everything. And honestly, I just want to take a moment, and I'm just going to do it. So, dear Lord, please, I pray that you please bless every person that's in this room, bless Webster City. I pray that you would open hearts and minds, Lord, and that, you know, there just be a sense of peace and calmness. And, dear Lord, we just thank you that we're all healthy and able to be here. And we pray for the ones that want to be here that aren't, because I do know that there's many people that would love to be here, but are sick or dealing with health issues. So all this I pray, and please just like I said, bless everyone that's in this room. Amen.
Anyone else needed to say anything at all? Okay. I will close the hearing. No, come on, no. I could, you might have had to fight the crowd again. Let her get up there.
Sorry, Miller. I'm Jennifer Espinoza. I don't live here, but I do own property in Miller Street. I just sell my house. I live at 325 Maple Street in Camrose. I'm a nobody. I don't belong to a committee. I'm a children's librarian. Hi, guys. I know most of you. I am opposed to the sale of the park. I really don't have any economic reason. I just have a lot of memories. And I want the children in Webster City to share memories of their park, not the city's backside of Dollar General. Thank you.
Anyone else out there? I'll close the hearing again. I would really appreciate, I'd like to thank you very much for all your input, and just having everybody here is fantastic. I wish, I almost, other than as painful as this whole thing been to everybody and myself, it's great to have everybody here and have an opinion, and because so many times when we do our job up here that we often feel that no one really seems to care because we never hear from anybody, or you know, and even when I'm out and about all the time, often people, you know, don't say anything one way or the other on things we're dealing with. So I really do appreciate you being here for that. It's showing that we do have a great community, and everyone that came up and spoke did a fantastic job. Any other council want to make a comment?
I made it pretty public that I just wanted to hear what you all have to say. Specifically, the youth blew me away tonight for sure. I sure didn't think like that when I was 13 or even care about anything like this, so I appreciate it.
I guess I would echo their sentiment in that, you know, the purpose of a public hearing is to hear from the public. So it's great to be able to do that. I appreciate the comments that we received by email. You know, it's not an easy decision. Our job is to weigh any offers, weigh any things that come to us, and make the best decision possible. But it is great to see the turnout and to get the feedback from the community. But by far the best attended meeting ever.
I guess I'll make my comment. I'm the new guy here, so thanks for not being mean and stoning us up here, because this is all really new. And like they all say, I mean, we're just doing the best we can. So we are definitely going to take everything into consideration. So thank you for, you know, telling us what you think, because that's what we're here for. We wouldn't have a council if it wasn't for the community. So thanks, guys.
Item 2A is a resolution authorising execution of the purchase.
Can I make a statement, Mayor?
Sorry, we can hear you well.
I feel like I'm on hold with the cable company, but I'm still here. Okay, I just want to make a couple comments, and I know the audio quality might not be good, so I'm going to make this very fast, but I'm hearing the emotion and the passion out of the people that came forward and the people that have reached out to us over this past week. It's moving me 4 states away, like emotionally, and I'm just hearing this over the audio. So I want to thank everybody who had the courage to get up and face the council. That's a nervous thing. Everybody who reached out, grabbed one of us by the arm at a coffee shop or a restaurant or a store, and voiced their opinion, because, man, I tell you what, a lot of things look good on paper until you start really putting your fingers on the pulse of the community. And without this showing, I don't think we really would have realized the ramifications of this fully without everyone showing up and talking. Whatever comes out of tonight, I have faith in our community, but I'm just really, really, really impressed by what I heard tonight. So thank you all.
Item 2A is a resolution authorising execution of a purchase and sale contract and subsequent warranty deed conveying city-owned property in 1100 blocks of Superior Street, Webster City, Iowa, to the Overland Group LLC of Birmingham, Alabama. Would anyone like to call a motion?
So I think it'd be a good idea to table this.
Yes.
Motion to table it.
Vote.
I'll motion it to table it, and I'll say, because I want to look at all the stuff we've talked about and look at options for potential other locations with Dollar General. All of that stuff.
Hang on, hold it. You don't want to yell into the back. Just let Logan speak.
Let's let Logan speak.
Gosh, dang guys, just let me put some in your ear quick. We just heard some of the most emotional statements we've ever heard in the 6 years I've been on the council, and we're going to spit in the community's face by tabling it. We can turn this down now and still make it. Let's do the right thing here tonight, people. Let's just say no. Let's go back to Dollar General tomorrow and say, what's plan B? All right?
Did you want to keep the
So,
motion, or do you want to?
I guess that's exactly what I meant by that. I want to motion it, I want to,
Then let's just vote no. Let's just motion to call a vote now and let's just get it done with.
Yes. Yes.
Vote no! Vote no! Vote no! Hold it! Don't start the bullshit. Look, there is a process, unfortunately. I'm very sorry, but, there's been a motion and all this, so unfortunately, it's a system. So please let it work. We do feel for you, trust me. Yes, we do.
Transparency.
There's been a lot of mistakes made along the way here, but we are here now.
Fix them now.
So.
Yeah.
How about your ideas?
Yeah.
Your opinion, let us know what you think.
We can't read your minds.
No, but we're going to show you I would have thought we'd show you our vote here in a minute, but I don't know. We have to have a motion first. I'm not sure whether, are we holding Brian's motion or is Logan making his motion?
I'm astonished you'd even consider it.
Can I make a point of clarification, just for your guys' sake? You either make a motion, and you second it, and then you vote on it, and it can be voted A or nay, or you just don't make a motion and it dies without a motion, or you make a motion to do something else. But I'm just telling you, that's really your own, so you can still put it up for a motion, and then if you say no, that's when that's the clearest answer, or you don't put up a motion involved.
after all this conversation, what I want is
No.
Wait.
can I talk?
Yeah.
What I want is a Dollar General somewhere in Webster City, Iowa.
There is one. There is one.
Thank you. A brand new Dollar General somewhere in Webster City,
They
Iowa.
won't leave town.
That doesn't necessarily have to be at East Twin Park, and I want to have that discussion.
But Brian, this is a very specific resolution we're voting on tonight, correct?
Yes, you're voting on selling this
So
property
let's
to
make
Dollar
sure we
General.
stay
Let's just
focused
finish
on,
that
hey, wait a
property.
minute, I have the floor, I have the floor.
No, excuse me.
Come on, guys.
Excuse me. If you have the floor, you have to come up to the podium.
Okay.
Can I just say one thing real quick? There's a lot of emotions going on here. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Treat people with respect. Let them do their job. If you don't agree with it, let them know you don't agree with it. But don't scream and holler and do stupid things. We're better than that.
Exactly,
So
thank
stop
you.
it.
Yes. Okay, so I've gone through some city council lawsuits lately. I learned a lot down on Luther. So this is a very specific resolution. And we should be voting on this resolution tonight. It does not close the door for for Dollar General or any other commercial development for them in Webster City. This is very specific, guys. You have an audience here. You can repair the relationship right now if you choose to. It's totally open. The door's open. It's totally open.
Brian, I understand where you're going with this, and I get it. I get it. You want more time. Fellow council members, I asked for more time. I asked for a work session. You refused. Vote this down now, and we can take as much time as we need to find a plan B. We don't need to include the park. I'm embarrassed it was even considered. Let's just end it tonight, guys.
Make a motion, Logan.
Well, I believe Brian is still on the floor. Are we letting it die? I mean, I don't want to, I want to do this correct. I don't want any gray area in this decision. I want to be firm. If we got to let that motion die, let's just sit and let it die.
Without a second, it dies.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I do motion, and I hope to God, I'm crossing my fingers, we're gonna do the right thing here, fellow council members, because this is scary going into this. I don't know where a lot of you stand, but I make a motion, we vote tonight on this resolution.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess this is where we become transparent. So when Logan says, hey, we're gonna, I mean, because he wants to vote no on this, if we do say no, and this is just from what we discussed, Dollar General had very specific wants, et cetera, are we gonna go back and say, listen, we spoke with our community as a whole, and this is what they came on, this is just out of me being purely new, this is my question.
That's why I wanted to table it and push different locations.
Right.
But we can do that, we can do that anyway.
If we can do that anyway, then I'm fine.
We can do that anyway.
That's a great point, and I think, Caitlin, you have a great way of putting it. If we go back to someone like, look, sorry, Dollar General or development company, we spoke to our community and they spoke to us. We want to work with you. I'm not against Dollar General either, everybody. I would love a brand new Dollar General as well. But just again, when you do that gut check, that Webster City gut check, we just got to say no to this. And I understand the fear of possibly losing some retail, and I understand there's people out there that want this. But I think somebody in the crowd mentioned it earlier. Do we want our legacy to be losing this park? And I'll put one little dot on the bottom of that. I do not want my legacy to be bullied by Dollar General. And I'm not going to give up a park, guys. We can do this the right way. And I don't know who spoke, that it just said something. Again, I'm going all by audio just a minute ago. But they're right. We have the chance to rebuild trust in the community. It's laid out. The stage is set. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So, just so we're clear, Logan's motion is this resolution.
Vote on the resolution before council.
Just so you're aware what you're voting for.
Which
We need a
is-
second on that.
Read the resolution. Which is authorizing execution of a purchase and sale contract and subsequent warranty deed conveying city-owned property in the 1100 block of Superior Street, Webster City, Iowa, to the Overland Group LLC of Birmingham, Alabama.
So a second to that would be to vote
Just to
on
set
the
it up for a vote.
resolution.
Yeah, so Logan's not necessarily agreeing with it, he's just putting it up for a vote, and then somebody else needs, if somebody wishes to second it, then you vote yes or no to this resolution. Obviously, you vote yes, it goes through, you vote no, it dies.
Yes, that's my intention.
I'll second Logan.
Roll call vote. Miller?
I do want to say, for the people that, and I know you're gonna boo me for this, the people that called me that are wanting this retail, this does not kill that. This just kills that location. I want them to know that aren't here. So I vote yes.
Well,
I vote no. I vote no. Sorry. I vote no. Sorry.
Logan Welch?
No.
Caitlin Hartman?
No.
John Hawkins,
No.
Matt McKinney,
Thank you. You did the
job,
right
guys.
thing. Thank you.
Thanks to you. We'll take a recess in case people want to leave and then we'll start again. Oh, anyone want to have a bathroom break before we start again? Thank you. We'll have a 5-minute recess. Can you turn the heat up? Or is it freezing up?
My toes are numb.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you're from,
I wish I would warm up my eyelids. Don't you think it's wonderful her first meeting is a doozy? Thank you. Good deal. Is it? Oh, you have to hold on to you in case you fall down.
She does. Oh,
All right, I didn't know that was louder.
It's much louder.
Oh, I hit it up there all the time, that was loud. Okay, so item 3 is a resolution, so I believe, resolution authorising and approving execution of a purchase agreement between the City of Webster City and First Congregational Church at 1104 Wilson Avenue. I believe we want to table
I'm
that.
gonna move to table number 3.
Got a second?
Second. Logan still here?
He is.
Yeah, I'm here.
We still roll calling?
Yep.
Well, Logan can't hear very well, so yeah.
Okay, roll call. Welch?
Yeah.
Hartman?
Yes.
Hawkins?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Okay, item 4 is a resolution accepting and approving acquisition of a property generally located at 940 3rd Street in Webster City, Iowa, Hamilton County, Iowa.
Yeah, this is just, it's real quick, this is one of those abandoned properties the city took, and as a requirement, as always, I can get you the property through the court order, but then you have to accept it, so. Yeah.
Call for motion.
So moved.
Second.
Hartman?
Yes.
Hawkins?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Welch?
Yes.
Item 5 on the agenda is recommend approval of issuance of a beer and liquor licenses for the Iowa Department of Commerce for the following. A, transfer of a Class C liquor license for TTMM Promotions LLC, Hamilton County Speedway, to Show Arena at Hamilton County Fairgrounds for the event to be held at January 18th, 2020. Call for motion.
So moved.
Hawkins?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Welch?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
Item 6 is a resolution accepting work authorising change order number 3 and pay request number 2 in the amount of $2,375 and $6,617.88 retainage in 30 days for Summers Enterprise Incorporated of Masonville, Iowa for completion of a contract with Ingraham Water Main Replacement Project. So, it's just clearing it out, isn't it, Ken? So,
Correct.
okay. Anyone have any questions for Ken?
Move to approve.
Not second. McKinney?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Welch?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
Hawkins?
Yes. Okay, E, recommendations, reports and recommendations of officers, boards and commissions. We don't have anything, any council committee reports? Be correct, Logan? Nothing's been happening,
Nope.
is it? Yep. The next section is other items, city attorney report.
I think we pretty well covered everything tonight, so.
We did? Yes, sir.
No need to.
Got most of the things on there.
Yeah, so I think we're good, unless you have any questions.
Okay, so, item G is closed session, meet in closed session to discuss the information relevant to the provision of electric service by the city utility as per Iowa Code Chapters 21.5A, 22.7, 3 and 6, and 388.9 pertaining to confidential and competitive information and records. So we'll take another 5-minute break and.
We need a motion to go into closed
We need a motion.
Move into closed session.